Tonight on Business Live, as the IMF projects Ghana's debt to GDP ratio to reach 90.7% by December 2022, we'll hear from an economist who says the government is likely to miss its fiscal deficit target of 6.6%.
3 months to the end of the year, if you're going to hit that target, it's a tall order. And that means that there's a high risk of exceeding the government's 6.6% of GDP. As to whether we reach the IMF's 9.2%, it's a fingers crossed situation.
Also, new findings by CART International and German corporation GIZ Ghana shows 88% of Ghanaian small and medium-skilled enterprises lack international certification to take advantage of AFTA.
Objectives of the research was to conduct a nationwide assessment about the level of competitiveness and growth readiness of Ghanaian SMEs to participate in the AFCFTA.
Plus, as part of the Insurance Brokers Awareness Month, you want to know whether or not digitization is gradually taking insurance brokers out of business. The chief executive of IBAC joins us together with a member of his outfit's Education and Publicity Committee. We have all of this and more in the next 30 minutes with me, Beverly Broohm. Do stay. Hello again, thanks for choosing us. Now, the IMF is projecting that Ghana's debt to GDP ratio could reach worrying levels by the end of the year. In its fiscal monitor report, it projected the debt to GDP ratio reaching 90.7% by December 2022. Here's George Yafe with more.
The projection by the IMF could mean that Ghana's debt to GDP ratio peaked at around 68% ending July this year, with the actual numbers at around 402 billion Ghana cedis could be going up further in the coming months. The IMF puts Ghana's end-of-year revenue to GDP at around 14.1%, a level that is described by some as not so good for a low-income country like Ghana, looking at the country's rising expenditure and debt levels as well. The IMF's projection is coming at a time that the World Bank in its Africa report is also looking at the debt GDP ratio hitting 104% at the end of this year. But government has maintained that with the economy still projected to recover strongly and measures being undertaken to reduce the debt levels, the country wouldn't reach those crisis levels at the end of this year. The World Bank and the IMF are currently carrying out a debt sustainability analysis on Ghana, a move that will give us a true state of Ghana's debt and whether we have moved from a high risk of debt distress to a debt distressed country.
Meanwhile, head of research at IC Securities, Courage Buti, says there's a likelihood that the government may exceed the fiscal deficit target of 6.6% in relation to the size of the economy. He spoke on the marketplace.
Well, yes, in the views of the IMF, and this is a forecast for end 2021, and 9% or 9.2% appears quite steep in our view. But of course, it tells the bigger story of how very, very likely it is for the government of Ghana to overshoot its own target of 6.6% that is set for themselves this year. So even if you don't get the 9.2% that the IMF is currently forecasting, there's a high risk that the government would exceed the 6.6% target they set for themselves this year. And that's largely based on the fact that at the end of 9 months this year, the deficit outcome was about 6.4% of GDP against a target of 5.0%. So at 9 months, we already exceeded the 9-month target. And for the rest of the year, 3 months to the end of the year, if you're going to hit that target, it's a tall order. And that means that there's a high risk of exceeding the government's 6.6% of GDP. As to whether we reach the IMF's 9.2%, it's a fingers crossed situation, but it tells you that there's a high risk of we exceeding the government's targets.
Commenting on the rate of decline of the cedi to the US dollar, Courage Mate indicated that the local currency's instability has the potential of affecting investment negatively.
It makes it difficult to sell Ghana out there as an investment destination because every investor, if they are offshore investors or non-resident investors, the key thing they care about is the currency exposure, macroeconomic conditions or stability that they come into. So if your currency is not stable, they are exposed to too much risk that their balance sheet can take. And so it is scary. Now, it appears what is driving the cedi at this point now is gone beyond the fundamentals, the weakening of the economic fundamentals, because we've also seen global investment houses who have also seen the cedi's pace of depreciation as too fast for the kind of situation we have. In fact, I've seen one that thinks that the cedi is about 20% undervalued. So essentially, it comes back to the negative sentiment on the market, a bit of scramble for the US dollar as a safe haven asset. And that's also intensifying the pressure on the local currency, especially as there is no clarity on what government is doing with the fiscal situation. Now, typically, if I earn coupon on my government of Ghana bond holdings, or if I earn my salary, I reinvest part of it into government of Ghana securities. But now, because the clarity is not there around what will happen to investment in government of Ghana securities, given the talk of restructuring, investors are rather holding safe haven assets and seeing the dollar and other foreign currency as alternatives to cedi-denominated securities.
Away from that, 88% of small and medium-scale enterprises across the country do not have international certification to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. This according to research findings conducted by CATS International and GIZ Ghana. Head of research at CATS International, Isaac Yaobing, says this will be a barrier to local businesses. He was speaking at the public-private dialogue on the private sector role and participation in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
The findings is to improve the framework conditions to unlock the potentials of African Continental Free Trade Agreement for small and medium enterprises in Ghana. According to Isaac Obin, head of research at CAT International, most SMEs lack capacity to reach out to partners across the world.
The objectives of the research was to conduct a nationwide assessment about the level of competitiveness and growth readiness of Ghanaian SMEs to participate in the AFCFTA. And also to come out with diagnostic report which will help to develop practical steps in addressing those gaps and challenges and to advocate for improving the business framework conditions for SMEs. So these are the specific objectives. Let's move on. How did we go about our research work? We undertook a desk research. There was a quantitative bit and then a qualitative bit, focus group discussion, and then we sent questionnaires and then the desk review. In all, we organized 3 focus group discussions in Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi.
On his part, the West African Regional Director for CAT International, Apia Akusi Adomaku, said the SME space need a robust management system.
Like it or not, if we do not prepare our SMEs to be able to produce and export, businesses from other countries would also export their goods into our country, and that could also collapse the Ghanaian SMEs. And so we need, as a country, as a government, everybody needs to come on board to ensure that we get a very competitive private sector that will be able to produce at quality goods at what competitive prices. That is how the market should be. We will say that government has done very well across Africa. When you look at government national level preparedness, I think Ghana is number one. About 2 months ago, Ghana launched its AFCFTA implementation strategy. And inside that strategy document details what specifically government through its various agencies and departments are doing or will be doing to deepen AFCFTA integration in this country, such that SMEs in Ghana will be able to take advantage. Of course, unfortunately, most of these things also revolves around the broader scheme of the microeconomic indicators. But for the past 3-4 months, we've seen how the tide has turned against Ghana.
Small-scale enterprises in particular are being urged to build their capacities to be able to trade effectively and efficiently by the time trading under AFCFTA swings into full gear.
The Ghana Rubber Estates Limited has presented dividend payments of about 668,000 euros for 2021 to the Finance Ministry. Presenting the check, Managing Director of the company, Lionel Ba, called on the government to ban the exportation of raw rubber. According to him, the rubber industry can generate more revenue to support the economy when the right investments are made.
We could develop even faster and bigger than we are today. And it's a pity that for now we are requesting some rulings of this supply chain 4 years of the rubber supply chain. And it's very simple. The decision of exportation is a common decision between producers, processors, and the government, with a system which is called APROMAC. So they take the decision together. When there is a bit more rubber, of course they allow the exportation in order for the farmer not to stay with the rubber. When there is not enough rubber, everything stays in the country. Here we have a system where everybody can export as he wants without any added value. So what's the system? Everything basically has been planted in this country with AFD funds given to ADB, Agricultural Development Bank, and NIB, so governmental bank. And this bank today, they are no more receiving their money, the deduction of the loan, the repayment of the loan, because the only one that are deducting the loan is GREL. So they prefer to divert the rubber to some Asian people, basically Chinese people, that have just a yard in Tema, and they export the raw material. So they don't employ, they don't bring the inflow, they don't pay any tax to GRA, and they spoil the bank. So government is losing at all the points, and of course on the dividends.
Meanwhile, Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kumar assured the Ghana Rubber Estates Limited that the government will address all their challenges in building strong value chains.
It's one thing that affects virtually all agricultural produce. We just have the supply chain, as he said, but we are not good at the value chain, making sure you are adding value, getting the processes done before you go out there to export it. And it's affecting our forests, affecting our employment. We are rather creating jobs in other countries, and these are matters that we take seriously, and we are going to make sure we improve upon it. I thank you, and I want to further commend you for your good works and your good observation, and together we're going to build a nation that is great and strong.
You're still watching Business Live here on the Joy News channel with me, Beverly Broohm. Still to come, as part of the Insurance Brokers Awareness Month, you want to know whether or not digitization is gradually taking insurance brokers out of business. The Chief Executive of IBAC joins us together with a member of his outfit's Education and Publicity Committee. Advances in technologies and the disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic have seen today's world of business gone digital. Most businesses and entrepreneurs have adopted several digital innovations and technologies to enhance their business mode of operation to ensure that their customers get convenient, fast and cost-effective services from them. As part of the Insurance Brokers Awareness Month, the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, IBAG, sees the need to educate the public on the role of an insurance broker and to also assure insurance consumers that brokers in Ghana continue to adopt modern-day technologies to enhance their operations in order to serve their customers better. With me in studio on the subject of insurance brokers and digital innovations are the Chief Executive Officer of IBAG, Reverend Jason Atike, and William Wood, who is a member of the Education and Publicity Committee of IBAG. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time here.
Thank you.
All right, so let me start with you, Jason. What has been IBAG's role in ensuring that brokers are adequately digitized to serve clients?
Okay. So for IBAG, as part of our objects, one of the key objects we have is to build the capacity of our members to ensure that they deliver professional services to their clients, and they also are compliant and relevant at all times. And so what we have done is to look at capacity building. The first thing we did was to engage the services of a consultant to conduct a training needs assessment of our members to know where they are and where they can go to as far as digitalization is concerned. And so out of that, the findings led to the development of a manual, and then we went ahead to train our members. As far as the training is concerned, what we did was to expose them to the various digital technologies available in modern day to ensure that they get to use these. So we were looking at technologies from the simple to the complicated ones, from the free technologies to the paid versions, to ensure that they are able to enhance their services to their clients.
William, tell me, you are a broker.
Yes, I am.
Explain what it means to be a broker and how you are adopting technology in, your work.
Okay, so a broker is a professional intermediary. And when we say an intermediary, he's like a middleman. So he works on behalf of the client to ensure that he's able to get the client the best services that they require. And we're talking about the best quote on the market, the best insurance company that can give you the best cover for the product that the client actually requires. And beyond that, the broker also helps in terms of claims processing. So from the beginning of the claims process where you submit your documents, the broker is going to engage the insurance company all the way to the end where you'll be given your settlement. Again, the broker goes beyond that where they are able to offer risk management services. Now, when we talk about that, we're looking about the fact that we'll look at your portfolio, we'll look at the risk, and we'll tailor everything to your needs, and that will come at a particular cost, and that cost is the premium. So the broker is able to go into the market, look at all the various options, and give you the best product for you. And when we talk about the broker, we need to remember that the services of a broker are free. People wonder why we say the services of a broker are free, and this just comes down to the premium. So the premium that you pay, as part of the computation, there's a portion of it that will come as a commission to the broker. So in that regard, you as a client, we are working for you, and we're ensuring that we're going to give you the right service that you require at a particular cost, which is your premium. So that in particular compromise all the things of what the broker does for the clients.
William, let me stay with you. As an insurance broker,
Yes.
Do you see digitization of insurance companies as a threat to brokers?
That's a very interesting one. Now, I want to start off by saying that we do not see insurance companies as threats.
Okay.
We actually see them as partners because at the end of the day, the broking space is growing. Now, we help sell the products that they sell. And when I say that, we take their products, we customize it. So we even add added value to the product that the insurance companies sell and sell that to the company. The insurance companies, for us, we don't see them as competition because at the end of the day, we're able to thrive in one space. They will come to us for business, which is the beauty of it. So at the end of the day, it's hand-go-hand come kind of thing. So you also even have a situation where brokers and insurance companies partner together to actually approach clients and actually give them the service that they require. So we honestly don't see them as competition.
But don't you think this digitization agenda will take away the human face from like you doing business?
Well, no, that's not the case, because we believe that digitalization or digital technologies, basically, these are tools, and they are tools to enhance what we do as humans. So it's difficult to say you are going to get rid of the human. Let's not forget that as far as the insurance broker is concerned, the broker is there to advise. And so these technologies are rather there just to enhance the services of the broker, to help them in their basic or fundamental operations of advising their clients, and not necessarily coming to replace the broker.
We are pressed for time, so let me take your final words. First of you, Jason. Jason, you.
Okay, so what I will say is that we find ourselves in a digital era, and people must understand that, one, for you to get into the space, you must understand that there are certain risks that you may face. So we can talk about cyber fraud, we can talk about all other risks in the space. And so there are some insurance policies available to look at as far as the digital space is concerned. If you get to contact a broker, the broker can actually advise you. So I'm talking to entrepreneurs and other businesses who want to, use these technologies. Again, finally, what I will say is that brokers are there. They are there to ensure that clients get fair treatment. They are compensated at the right time and adequately. And if you are willing, you want to go through them, yes, there's the opportunity there. Now, by the virtue of digitalization, we are able to provide convenient and fast services to our clients. So for all your insurance needs, go through the insurance broker.
William, let's hear you.
Okay, what I'd like to say is that first and foremost, the insurance broker is your friend.
Okay.
Regardless of the digital space, the other thing about the broker is that we like to be personal. We want to be direct with the clients. So irrespective of us moving our services onto a digital platform, we will still add that personal touch as a broker. So yes, people need to understand that to get the right professional service, not just from the broking fraternity, but from the insurance companies, you could still go to a broker who would give you that added value and that professionalism.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. The Chief Executive Officer of IBAG, Reverend Jason Atike, and William Wood, who is a member of the Education and Publicity Committee of IBAG, a broker and manager at Edward Mensah Wood and Associates. And that's how we wrap up Business Live here tonight on the show. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broohm. Enjoy the rest of our programs.